Good morning, everyone. It's Ryan Howe with Summit Business Guides here on Small Business News. And obviously today is April 1st, so everyone just keep your wits about you. I will not be throwing any April Fool stuff at you today, but today's the day we just don't trust anything on the internet because, especially in the last couple years, even the craziest stuff we thought there's no way this could be true ended up being true. So just try not to trust anything today. With that, I'm battling like a upper respiratory something right now, so my voice is what it is. So I apologize, but I did want to get on today to talk about a few things. That were definitely of importance that's happened over the last couple days, and then speak about a few things that troubles that I see with my clients as far as from marketing standpoint. We're going to cover a few pieces there. I found an article I thought was just a perfect example of the struggles my small business clients tend to deal with marketing. And lastly, we'll get into two things that I want to cover specifically about how they know their processes. That's a question that comes up all the time. How does my process actually, how do I know my process is good? That's the question I get from my clients. And we're going to cover the two things specifically that I have them focus on. So with that, let's get into this. First things first, I just want to talk about the bridge collapse, the Francis Scott Key bridge there in Maryland. One thing to keep in mind on this, everyone's a little worried. I've got a few of my clients ask like, how's it going to affect overall from, obviously for transportation networks, and is that going to increase the cost of shipping goods and things of that nature? What I've told all of them is that I wouldn't worry about it. It's in the grand scheme of things, this is not going to be a huge deal within the United States and frankly within the entire global network. Yes, there are going to be things that need to be rerouted, but where Baltimore's at one, it's in the middle of the country, so there's ports that are either to the north or the south you can adjust to. But most of the goods that are shipped within the U.S., they're by truck, they're by train. We don't do very much by boat. There's reasons for that, but just it's nothing necessarily to really be overly concerned about. With that, yes, your logistics folks are going to have to rethink a few things, but end of the day, it's not going to be the end all. It's not going to. Again, it's a minor irritation in a global network that has issues with in the Red Sea. Houthis are sending missiles and trying to take out ships. There's half of the traffic that would be going through the Red Sea is detouring all the way around Africa. And then lastly, in the Panama Canal, they've had that drought for a while. It's still an issue. Hopefully, it'll be correcting itself here shortly with return of La Nina. But end of the day, there's other things that are where I would put the concerns at for overall costs and things to be worried about. Additionally, on our next spot here, this is what I was talking about here, which next spot is going to be in this area here, which is what are the best strategies for marketing a small business? This has been coming up with my clients consistently now for quite a while. Is how what do I need to do for marketing to get my name out there, which is important. Marketing, if you're not marketing, people think you went out of business. If you're not getting out there, so I got that. Best practice I have for my clients: use Facebook. Everyone's on Facebook. It's still the end all be all best way to reach your market on Facebook. You're going to be able to you use them as an advertiser, use them for your targeted marketing within your area. You're going to get on an Instagram on the mobile. You're going to get on the Facebook mobile. You're going to be fine. Just for base level. But beyond that, in the deeper level conversations, what are the best strategies for marketing? We need to get into strategy, all right? And this is an example of what it's like if you're in a small business and you don't know what to do and you ask the question to everybody. Like you say, hey, what, man, I wonder what I should be doing for my small business. Everyone's going to have an opinion, and this is what it sounds like. Implement an audience targeting strategy. Develop strategic partnerships, which is something I do recommend. I have I do have a gourmet bakery that's in their third year now that recommended, and they did it. They went and partnered with a local brewery to be able to offer like St. Patrick's Day desserts with their stout beer that's in the actual frosting and stuff like that. It's really good. But that way you can reach different clients that you normally wouldn't have. So it is a strategy there for sure. Personalized content. client testimonials, engage with short-term videos, collaborate with micro-influencers, design interactive content, train Meta's algorithm for targeting, subscription program, mobile for all these things, right? It's this laundry list. And this is what ends up happening with a small business owner. Like, gosh, what all these options, these things I should do. What should I be doing for my marketing? And there's two things that I tell them right off the bat. And this is directly where I get them. And first was actually this first piece. So let me go back to that. Number one thing, it's in line with this: implement an audience targeting strategy, but not necessarily going after them. First things first, I recommend for my clients is to say, hey, just do you have avatars built for your ideal clients? And if you haven't built avatars before, definitely look into it. I'll throw a link to, where a baseline avatar building, the type of questions you want to ask, which are psychological and psychographic analysis of who they are as a person. There's usually multiples of people between 5 to 7 is usually a good number of the different channels of people that you want to hit. You get to know them a little bit better, and then that helps you to have like a picture in your mind of who you're actually targeting. All right, so first things first is build avatars, and second is, it's then to figure out how you are going to. Sorry about that. I had a client text me. It is people are working. So where was that? Oh, anyways, second piece then is, how do you measure it? What does it mean to be successful in your marketing campaign? Is it just more hits to your website? Is it more people coming through the door? Hopefully it's more sales, right? But that may not be exactly what you're looking for. It all depends. So you have to identify what it is that you actually want to measure, which leads into the last piece here, which is the main part here I was talking about is, how do you know when you've built a good process? And that's a question I get consistently from my clients is, when I come in and work with them, we build playbooks that are every single thing they do is a checklist. It's a process. We call it a playbook that is specifically step by step on how to do everything that they do. And they build them out, systematically over a course of 1.5 to 2 years. But with that, how do you know it's a good process? And these are the two things I tell them to focus on. All right. First things first is going to be, how do we know we're done? That's, how do we know we're done with the process is the question. And this is the first thing when you're putting a process together, you should think about. When the end product system delivers what the end user needs, whatever that next person in the chain or that step at the end of the process needs. So like, again, let's just say you are in a fast food restaurant and you're making hamburgers for people. At the end of your process, there should be a hamburger available for someone, right? That's whatever that person needs. If you are in it, but let's talk about internal client and your internal customers as well. So let's say you're in a manufacturing plant, and in part of the process, your one system is you're building a widget that turns to the left at your process, because at the end, the next person in line, they need that widget that turns to the left in order to build a larger component that makes something, right? At the end of your process, whatever that process looks like needs to turn to the left, right? You got that. I think you guys understand that, because that's what you're doing with the process. Everybody gets that piece. The second part that they gloss over, though, is, how do you know we're done? When there's a feedback loop in place to measure how well you met the end. Not meth. Definitely don't, unless, well, that's not for here. There's different small business. Met the end user's needs and then implemented changes. All right. One thing when I work with my clients consistently is that no process is complete until you have a feedback loop at the end to let you know how well you did in that process. How well did it meet their requirements? You then take that information, go back, make adjustments to the process, and then run it again, right? And then back and forth and back and forth. That's all you're doing. Almost all my clients miss that. Well, when I first come in, I'm like, what's your feedback loop? What do you have? So with that, this is one of the things I go back to again, as I mentioned at the beginning. How do you know when you've built good processes? It's these two things, because this is going to help you go from a good process to an amazing process, right? You want to get effective first, then efficient. Get effective first. Does your process actually make what you want to make? Check. All right, is there a feedback loop in place to let you know how well you did, right? And as long as you get those covered in your process, and you have that, you know, the the form fit function, then the feedback, you're well on your way to having successful processes and quickly outpacing your competition. So with that, that's all I had for you today. It's again, Ryan House on businessguys.com. Check me out if you're interested in learn how I help my clients grow. With that, I'm here here just about every day, between 7 and 8. Today was a little later, obviously not feeling well, but yeah, if you liked what you saw here, obviously I'd love to give you a subscription, and